Hey, back for part two. Maybe I'm the jerk that pushed things forward quickly, but there's a lot more to say about the big Philly style and Ball's first matchup. That's the one we're talking about?
That's the one we're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah. I wanted to talk about my matchup.
Dang. All right, I guess we can let the guests talk.
The floor is
All
yours.
right, all good. I understood what you were doing. So yeah, a couple things about the matchup. First place, third place. Definitely a possible playoff matchup, along with the other one we're going to talk about with the Brigadiers and Dom. Both potential playoff matchups this week. I am scared of Travis Kelce. I do fear that he could be the difference maker if I don't win. Ball's first, I would play Cooper over Fulgham, but that's just me. You go ahead and play Fulgham. I'm not going to question you. And he does have a couple tough bye weeks with Thielen and Cooks, so hopefully that works out in my favor. I've got 3 juicy matchups this week. I picked up Matt Stafford to fill in for Lamar. He's got the #1 quarterback matchup this week. DeAndre Hopkins has the #1 wide receiver matchup this week. And RJ2 has the #1 running back matchup this week. So if those 3 guys can go off against #1 matchups, I think I can pull this one off and make things a little more interesting in this league.
That was some hardcore Jedi mind trick.
My defense has been much better this year. It's been steady and
very steady.
I feel like that across the board. Like defense is playing better this year, but I don't know. I don't know why that. I don't know how that could be a thing. But
he's got the who's who of former Packer disappointments. He's got Josh Jones, and then he's got a former Badger Schobert down there. So, but no, they're all.
My team turned around after I picked up Josh Jones. I had a grand total of 2 points out of my DB2 spot before I picked him up. And he's been in there. He's been making tackles and scoring points. So
yes, somebody's got to make the tackle back there. So might as well be him.
The Jedi mind tricks were strong in that statement. Does he really think you should play Cooper, or does he really think you should play Fulgham? So he's saying play Cooper.
Cooper has been like getting well. First of all, CeeDee Lamb looks like a stud. How he fell that far in the draft is something that I think we'll talk about in the future. I think your Raiders probably should have taken him over Ruggs, but anyways, like Cooper barely got any looks in that game 2 weeks ago, and he was not a non-factor in the first half. And he did score a touchdown this week, but it was in a game that was well decided. And Dalton looked bad. Their offense, Tyron Smith, when Tyron Smith is out, that line is not the same, and he's out. And I have no faith in Cooper right now. I honestly would have flipped him for, Keenan Allen straight up, thinking that would have been an upgrade. But, just in case, technically a #1 wide receiver on the bench isn't a bad thing. But, yeah, I think Fulgham has more upside. I think he'll get more targets.
Nice.
Good luck, my friend.
Yeah, you too.
Aw. All right. Did we get through Detroit Blizzard and Caddy? Did you guys get your say?
We did. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Then the bloodbath that we talked about earlier, Dom and Brigadier's Brigade. Two big time matchup, big time teams.
Yeah, this should be a good one. Josh Allen has kind of come back to earth a little bit for Dom, but I think that could play into his favor this week. The Jets are not good. Sean McDermott is really smart. He's a really good coach. And when you have a young guy like that, like he knows that it's important for that guy to, stats and numbers are going to be important. It's fantasy football drives, jersey sales and all that stuff can just – so if the face of his franchise can look better, I think he's going to let Josh Allen go ahead and run it up a little bit. I think his stats are going to look really good this week against a really bad Jets team. What is going on with the Michael Thomas drama, you guys? Like, Sean Payton's, like, being, like, cryptic talking about him, said he's not going to be punished anymore. But how weird is that? Like, a guy with that kind of talent who just set the receptions record got benched for a game because he punched a team. What is going on there? Like, are we seeing the beginning of the end of Michael Thomas in New Orleans? Could that really be a thing?
I think he wants out.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? And then for Dom, I think I would go Austin Hooper over Schultz. I don't think either one of them are huge plays, but Hooper got a lot of money. I think they really need to start trying to utilize him a little bit more. He has Christian Kirk and Keelan Cole, which were both like sexy waiver wire pickups this week. In a lot of leagues, he started Kirk last week, who had a nice game. But I still think Chark's a safe play who had 14 targets last week, but somehow only turned it into about 40 yards. Dom has a good team. For Brigadiers, it's Tua time, baby. Obviously not this week, but he's now Tua's in play now, going forward. But I still think Herbert is a nice looking player. He's got Kareem Hunt, who's questionable, got a limited practice in today. Joe Mixon did not practice at all today, but it seems like he's going to be okay. He was actually hurt in the first half and came back and finished the second half. I think Mixon had a stat line somewhere around like 18 for 56 and a touchdown. If I'm a Mixon owner, that's the kind of stat line that I hope for. Just give me 40 points, get in the end zone. That big blow up he had a couple weeks ago, that's not going to really happen very often. And then, you were talking about BJ Goodson. The disrespect is real, projected for 10 points. But and Brigadiers, again, another good team. Do you guys think the top 4 teams right now are the top 4 are going to be the playoff teams? That'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I do.
It'd be interesting to see.
But you got to watch out for Drew. But yeah, I think these are the top 4 teams. But I do worry about Drew.
Yeah, for sure.
When McCaffrey comes. Yeah, I mean these 2 weeks are so important, and then when we get into the division play, there's just going to be giant games every week. This is so fun. COVID, stay away. COVID, stay away.
Right.
Great, awesome. Just kind of my thoughts a little bit. Yeah, I heard Michael Thomas was even limited in practice. He makes me nervous. Ridley's banged up. Chark's banged up. I
Ridley
like
should be okay.
Here. Herbert is the man. I feel I have ultimate confidence. I'm starting Mike Williams this week, and just because Herbert is just on fire and the way he's slinging it. Keelan Allen's a good play for you, Mike, too. And I like that he has Kareem Hunt. He's got Mixon in he's got the classic lineup. I always think about, you get 3 bell cow running backs. You get 2 in your starting spots and then 1 in your flex. That's just a classic lineup. And he's rocking it right now because he can. So I think that Brigadiers is gonna pull it off. But Josh Allen could score 100 and change that whole thing. So fun times.
Yeah. I want
up here. Mustache, you a question? Or Mustache, you a poll against Withers? What do you guys have here on this one?
Did you cut Phill off again? What were you gonna say?
He cut me off again.
Phil, you got to interject, man. Sorry. Down in Brigadiers.
So,
Mike Phil took it over.
So I'm agreeing with John on that matchup. I am favoring Brigadiers. I think Kareem Hunt's the number 1 running back in fantasy football right now. Now that he's the bell cow with that team, I think he's the number 1 fantasy play in fantasy football right now. I think Mixon's got a great matchup with Cleveland. I know he had the questionable designation, but I think Mixon's just got to have a good game. My one question mark with Brigadiers, even though they won 4 in a row, is what do they do at quarterback? Do you play Breeze or do you play Herbert? And then for Dom, I see a lot of question marks. His question marks are all guys that normally would qualify as donkey dicks, but we talked about the Michael Thomas drama. Zeke's been fumbling the ball. Dallas is a wreck right now. And then you got CEH. I think he might have hit the rookie wall. And then he's got potential Le'Veon Bell problem too. So I do think Allen's in a blow-up spot versus the Jets. I think if Dom wins, it'll be because Allen blows up against the Jets for 100 points. But I'm going to favor Brigadier in that matchup, even though I really would like him to lose this week.
I got Dom. And Alvin Kamara wants to know why he's not the number 1 running back. That's why I showed him on my screen.
Got it. All right, Phill, chat with us about Mustachio Poll versus Withers Winners. What do you think about this one?
So this one's my upset special this week, actually. I think Mustache can pull off the victory, even though it's kind of a must-win for Withers. It's just I don't know what's going on with his team. He's got Wilson, so you can't count him out completely. But I don't know what he's going to play at flex. I don't know what he's going to play at RB2. I would go with McKissick, but who knows? And he needs the Packers to blow up too. If he can have a big game from Aaron Jones and of course Tanyan, then he's got a chance. But I don't think he's got a chance without them. I think Cam will have a bounce back game for Mustache. And then he's got Kenyon Drake, David Johnson, and Henderson, which are all in boom bust spots. But if he can get, two of them to boom, I think he's going to pull off the upsets. So that's my upset special this week. I'm going with, Mustachio Poll, not Mustachio question. Mustachio Poll.
I think for Mustache, I think he's got he had talked about regretting not playing Brady and Gronk. I think Brady and Gronk might be the play again this week over Cam and Jonnu. I think if you switch one, you got to switch them both. They're a package deal. They look to have a connection last week and look really good. I talked about CD being a stud. As much as I second guessed a lot of Mustache's moves, the Kenyon Drake, obviously he had a huge week last week. But also the Cowboys kind of set him up with some short fields, putting the ball on the ground. So I don't know if you get another game like that, but his lineup with all the crazy moves he's made, is he buying? Is he selling? Is he playing for the future? Is he playing for right now? Is surprisingly viable. But yeah, Withers just got off a week where he scored 600 without Russell Wilson. So I would be cautious as that he's got the law firm of Jones, and Brown with Julio, Aaron, and AJ Brown. All three are really good players. I think Aaron Jones has to get the ball more this week. Tanyan did not practice today. I think that's got to be a cause for some concern. I know this team likes to use the tight end, but they also like, the Atlanta game, I think that's going to be the anomaly. Obviously, you don't expect 3 touchdowns ever again, but even being a focal point of the offense, Tanyan may not have that role very often. He'd have to just kind of hope for that once in a while. And then I did see Rashaan Evans had 0 projected points, which is weird. But I think he's hating on his boy Micah Kaiser there. He's got some good linebackers, but I think Micah Kaiser should get in over Evans this week. But Ryan's hanging in there. He's going to stay competitive as long as he can, which, he should, especially, coming off a big week. But he does need some help at running back. So if he wants to, long-term success, I think he really needs to try and find a running back. But, yeah, I think I would go with Withers here.
This matchup reminded me I did not send out a week 7 coaches poll, so I'm gonna get on that either tonight or tomorrow. My bad. Yeah, I mean, if you have AJ Brown and Julio Jones healthy, like you could win any matchup. You're always in the game because that's always like those dudes could combine for like 4 touchdowns in a quarter between the two of them. And then Russell Wilson's there. Yeah, absolutely. I'm worried for Mustachio Poll. I think Jonnu sprained his ankle. He might not play. So that's a concern for Mike. And he doesn't have a lot of depth just based on his trades and whatnot. Well, I guess he does have Gronk in this situation. So he does have depth there. I lean towards Ryan too because I think he's finally getting healthy. Yeah, if Ryan could find a second running back, and believe me, I know how hard that is. His team could make a run, So Phil's right. This has upset written on it, but it also, I mean, Ryan could just like blow him out of the take a dump on him, just like Ryan took a dump on Seth because Ryan's team is that talented. So yeah, I think more than I think about it, like Goody really needs his players to have great weeks to be in this matchup. It's possible, but I lean towards Ryan too. There it is. 6 matchups in the bag.
What's the World Series looking like?
It's bottom of the ninth, 2 outs.
All right.
Dodgers are down 6-4.
Nobody on base. Oh, there it is. End of the game.
What's the next big trade in the BFL going to be?
I think a lot of the guys are done making the big moves. I was talking to you about Kyler. I was actually talking to Brigadiers about Breeze. I didn't want to pay as much as you wanted for Kyler. But when I was able to get Keenan Allen in with the deal as well, that made up my mind for me. If it was just going to be quarterback, I actually like the matchups that Breeze had. Obviously, Sean has a bigger upside, but I think I'm done buying for sure. For me, it's going to depend on Dalvin Cook coming back and performing at a high level, and how good are the Vikings going to be if they don't start winning games. What are they going to do with, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so if you want a prediction of a blockbuster guy who might get traded the next couple weeks, I think if Withers away, I think Russell Wilson will get moved.
He'd be a big piece.
Somebody will jump on Russell. I wouldn't be in on that because I got Lamar. I'd like to be in on a trade of some sort, but I'm not in a position where guys who are available really are that much better than the guys I have. And so why give up assets for next year's draft, especially first, second round picks? I felt some hurt in this year's draft by not having a first round pick and not having a lot of early picks. So I'm not really as keen as some of these other teams are to be giving up those top picks, unless it's somebody who would drastically improve my team.
Amen. Like it really. I told them I was in negotiation. Well, I already brought it up. I tried to offer the house for Justin Jefferson, but I told Ben, I can't. I made a blood oath with myself to never. I'm not giving up a first rounder this year, and
okay.
So there you go. I had a second rounder included with some other very good players for Ben, and Ben rightfully said no thanks, and he's keeping Justin Jefferson now. In that sense, he might trade him to somebody else for a different offer, but I couldn't get it done with my second rounder for Jefferson. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody got notes from around the league real quick?
To be honest, I've been avoiding a lot of media coverage this week because I don't want to keep hearing about the Packers getting blown out. But no, so I guess Thursday Night Football is back on now because there's not as many COVID scares.
Yep, they got Thursday Night Football. But speaking of COVID, all 5 starting linemen for the Raiders got sent home from practice today. That's why the lights are off on Allegiant Stadium now. All 5 starting linemen were exposed. They haven't tested positive, but they were exposed. So we'll see what the fallout of that is. If you got Josh Jacobs, that might be not a good thing.
Yowzers.
Yikes. They got a good line, too. But, all right. BFL show.
You wrap it up?
Yeah, stop
Thanks
recording.
for having me, guys.
Dude,
thanks for coming on. It was great.
Fun. Thanks for being here. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Good luck this week. Stay healthy.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
I think I stopped recording.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.